here is the amplifier. It's got some switches there. Power is treble. You have your bass and volume and everything else. These switches, which are very stiff. Balance. Power light. You can see the top there, the mesh. Let's look underneath it. So that's underneath it. Now these were made from kits, so someone actually built this, which is pretty crazy. Looks like you've got, that's probably to adjust the bias, these two controls. There's coupling capacitors, those are these. They need to be replaced, although the ones with the orange on them, those are film, so they're okay, but I'll change them because I'm going to change everything. I want it to be uniform and nice. These little electrolytics can be changed. It'll need the filter capacitors changed, and there's two of them, one here and one here. This shouldn't be that bad to change. This one, I don't know where we're going to find room for them. There's 4 in there, or 3 in there, I'm sorry. That might be tight. I'm going to have to think about that one, how I want to handle that. Okay. Other than that, this will need to be replaced. That is a line bypass. That needs to be changed. What else do we have here? Well, that electrolytic there. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Started going through here and replacing capacitors, and I realized that these newer ones, the orange ones, which are film caps, well, they're dye film or whatever. But they're reliable. Those are replacements. So someone had started to recap. Well, they did a good job, but they're definitely replacements. Okay, I went ahead and I changed the coupling capacitors. Next are going to be these 2 electrolytics. So I went over here and I changed all the paper capacitors to these orange drops. They're all 0.1. Most of the resistors were pretty close, except for this one here, which is off the one of the output tubes. So I really would like to change that. I just don't have anything at that value. In fact, I don't think I have anything close. Well, actually, I think I have a 120. That might work. Might do that. Anyway, I've got the 3 electrolytics changed here, and these are not floppy. They're in there. Good. So these 3 were changed. Now I've got to figure out what to do about these 3. I mean, the tightness factor in here is pretty crazy. So I think I might be able to get some of these in other locations, and that's what I might have to do. Okay, I went ahead and I changed this one resistor here. It measured 137 ohms. This one measures 128. It's supposed to be 5%, so plus or minus 6. So this one's measuring 119.9. So that's within 6. So they're both within 6 ohms, which should be fine. Yeah, so what else do I have to do? Well, just these capacitors down here. I don't know if I feel like tackling that right now. I may revisit this tomorrow. I don't know. I did a lot on it already. Okay, I changed those 3 capacitors. They were a tight fit, I gotta say. I managed to put one over here, put one up here, and then one over here. And then a terminal strip in here with the several resistors. I replaced 2 of them. We're going to test the tubes in this amplifier. I go with the audio output tubes first. They're 7591, which I think is like a heavier duty 6v6, but I don't know. So I found some settings online. I hope they're right. We will see. Tube's lighting up. I'll give it a minute here. I was told that from the online article I read, it should be testing between a 60 and an 80 here. And it's testing 70, so all the same tubes, all original. They're all, I think, made by Westinghouse. Mine's right. Okay, that measures really good. My guess is this amplifier probably didn't get a lot of use. Eico. Made by Westinghouse, 6113, so 13th week of 1961. So that's like, compared to what I typically work on, this might as well have been made yesterday. Ooh, that lights up pretty bright. Nice. Okay, it's testing just like the others. So again, I really think my expectation is that all the tubes are going to test pretty good. But these output tubes apparently are very expensive. I have some speakers here. I got this whole unit as a set. It was a radio with a tuner, the tuner, of course, the amplifier, and then these speakers over here, which are actually kind of nice. All right, so let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so these are testing very strong, so that's good. That's excellent. Okay, now we'll see if we can get the settings for some of the others. So I could not find any of the other tubes in the chart or online. These are 12DW7 or it's 72 something. Hold on, what is it? Come on. 7247. So, go on. I'm just going to have to hope they're okay. I don't know. I mean, there's no way to test them without the settings, and I don't have them. So, let's see, I guess, what happens. So, what we're going to do, I guess we'll power this up. Now, you can't just power this up. You need a load. Unlike a solid state amp, it doesn't really matter what you do. These, you need to connect speakers. So, I'm going to connect speakers. Connect the ones that came with it. I mean, why not? Okay, we've got this hooked up. I don't think it's going to fall over. It's relatively solid. Speakers are connected. The meter's on. That is plugged into the dim bulb. I think this draws a lot of current. I think the dim bulb will get very, very bright, and I may have to, once I determine that it's working and not having any issues, what I may do is take it off the dim bulb. So we have that set on stereo. We have level. Let's put level up a little bit. Bass, I don't know, put that in the middle. Treble. Treble is the on-off switch, so we'll put that in the middle as well. All right. I don't know what balance that balance is. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to turn it on. Turn that on. Give it 15 volts. See if we see anything in here. Oh, you can't really see the dial light, can you? 20 volts. 30 volts. I bet this rectifier is slow to warm up like on the tuner. I found that one to be. I think the voltage will be pretty high here. I'm thinking it's around 400 and something volts. Yeah, the tubes are lighting up. Dial light is on. Or dial light, the pilot light is on. That's coming on. So, let's go ahead and plug in my phone. Well, it works. I'll just put it that way. I'm going to shut this off. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to bring it up without the dim bulb. Give it a few minutes to cool down. And then I'll bring it up without the dim bulb and see what happens. The sound was a little distorted. Okay, so we have this working, which is great. The next thing we're going to do, apart from, just wrapping it up, is the loudness switch on these. Apparently, from what I've read, is not very effective. I think the idea is they wanted the loudness to be to work differently from everyone else's loudness switch, which you've probably used one on a regular stereo, and you turn it on and the bass comes up and you have a bass boost basically. In this, it didn't work that way. It actually reduced the volume while giving it more bass. And I can't remember exactly what it is. There's rumors that it was, kind of a war between the engineers and the marketing people, and I don't know. I'm not really sure. I think that's probably unlikely, because they would have people testing the product and they would say, hey, this is not working the way we want it to. So I think it was more likely to be intentional. Anyway, there's a gentleman online. He has a website, which I will try and link to. He developed a way to basically improve this to make it work more like everyone else's loudness switch. So what we're doing is basically changing the values of these two capacitors, moving where they are, and moving some resistors around, and that will hopefully allow this to work better. Okay, I went ahead and I did this little modification. So basically, like I said, it involves changing a couple capacitors to a different value and replacing two resistors and just swapping the positions, and then adding a couple jumper wires. I'll put the link below so you can read about it, and it's just easier to look at. And so we'll see what it's like. I know what it sounded like before, and on loudness, with the loudness on, it was terrible. So maybe it'll improve it. Okay. Stop this conversation. Stop this conversation. There's treble. Treble all the way up. Bass. And let's try the loudness switch now. I think that works. Oh yes, it likes my phone. That modification's pretty cool. So yeah, someone was smart, and like I said, I'll put a link to that below on this video. But really pretty impressive amplifier. I mean, I know, I guess, I guess by the 60s they've really figured things out. Anyway, so I guess we'll put it back together. say this really sounds good. Free royalty, no royalty music is good for YouTube. It's good for me. Yeah, I mean, this is a really nice amplifier. I don't know, not sure what I'm going to do with it, but it sounds so great. I think I might use it. Plenty of volume. This is rated at 20 watts per channel, which for an amplifier is nothing. I mean, now you have a 100 watt per channel amplifier, on the low end of the models, but this is I don't quite understand what this. I don't quite understand what that balance switch is, but anyway. So I think we have a good amplifier here. Shut it off. Yeah, wow, this was a cool project. I actually had a lot of fun with this. I should do more stereo stuff. I don't know. I don't really think about it, but it was kind of fun. Okay, the other totally unnecessary thing, which I'm gonna do just because I think it's a good idea, is I'm gonna replace the power cord with a 3-wire cord. I'm going to take this as an old computer power cord. And I'm going to just chop the end off and make it into a stereo receiver power cord. And the way we're going to do this is we are going to ground the third prong to that little terminal down there to hold the power transformer in. And then we are going to, install the rest of the cord the right way. Okay, I stripped back this cable. It's actually a shielded cable, which is kind of cool. And we have 3 colors. And so what we are going to do is connect the green to chassis. We are going to connect the hot to the switch. And then the other side will go to the power transformer, or actually it's the fuse. So yeah. Okay, we're reading almost no voltage. I have it checked to ground, and I think our polarized plug and grounded plug is doing what it's supposed to do. Finally figure out why one channel's not working. It is the balance control is bad. How do you fix that? Well, you could replace it, but these use kind of weird controls, and the knobs are weird, and I could probably put something else in there and would never be able to use the same knobs. So the answer to this is simply to not use the balance control. What am I going to use it for? I mean, really, as long as both channels are relatively balanced. So the easy thing is I simply figured out, here I go using this little adapter as a pointer. I simply figured out, this side right here. Okay, I can't do this with the clip leads here, sorry. So all I did was I measured between here and here, and then on this side between here and here, and what I noticed is it was about 225K on this between these 2 leads when the balance control was at 0. And it was at it was like 4.7 meg, and I figured out by connecting clip leads to it and rotating the control that the carbon track inside the control is just bad. It rotates a little bit. It will show a little bit of a increase in resistance, and then it just drops off to nothing, like 5 meg, 10 meg, whatever, and then it goes to open. So that's the problem, is this control. So my, like I said, I got this resistor here, which stays cold, that's good. I'm gonna just stick it in there, and we should have a stereo, and it should work pretty well. So that's what we're gonna do. So here is the Eico receiver, or amplifier, I mean. I need to figure out what's going on with this light. It was working, and then it kind of went out and whatever. Plenty of volume. Just tone, bass, treble. This is royalty-free music, so we're safe using this. The loudness mod. So now the loudness works like you'd expect. Very nice sounding unit. I think I'm actually going to listen to this. These speakers I got, they're these little Dayton Audio. They're cheap. They were like $50, and they sound pretty good for being $50. So can't really complain. Have my different inputs over here. I have it on Phono B, but you can put this on anything. I mean, you have options for FM. That's AM, FM, and AM. FM multiplex, which is an add-on, and then auxiliary. And there it is. So, fun project has come to an end. I think I'm going to work on another stereo next, maybe. So I think maybe a couple of them, actually. I've got a few that I'd like to restore now that I feel a little more confident I've worked on this.